This podcast contains graphic language. What's going on out there, MGTOW? What's going on out there in sales? What's going on out there in the manosphere? You're right here, KDR, aka Kansas Rican Podcast. I'm right here in the Pacific Northwest, just podcasting it up all across the world. You name it, New Zealand, anywhere where the internet is. So if this is your first time on the podcast, well, it is what it is. So let's start with the intro and just bear with me. It's been like a very tricky couple of weeks, physically, mentally, and stuff like that. But I think tonight's podcast is going to resonate with a lot of men out there. So let me find out my intro here real quick. Just bear with me, gentlemen. I don't get paid for this gig out here. I do it for the public, especially for men. So just bear with me. Just give me a chance here. And what the hell my video went, for heaven's sake. I can't believe this nonsense. Just bear with me. Here we go. No further ado. You know, it's been a late night and a messed up week. So just bear with me. Let me go out here on my laptop and do this thing here. Here we go. Finally, the intros here.
It's getting serious on this track, fam. I respect you, you simping for some pussy, bitches.
Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to the underground. We are right here on the underground on Cocktail. So, tonight's topic is going to be very interesting in my mind, right? Because I knew this for many years. I've been doing on my own thing, even though I made mistakes as a young man, and I pay heavily, very heavily, not only emotionally but financially. I'm a Gen X. My age is 46. I got kids that are 28 and stuff like that. So I know how this thing works. So tonight's topic on the podcast for especially young men, don't be afraid to be alone. Do not be afraid to be alone. I'm not afraid. For most of my adult life, I live by myself. I never got married. Yes, I cohabitated. Yes, I have children as a young man and stuff like that. Right? Now understand the complication that come with having children born out of wedlock and stuff like that. I was naive. I was young. I was stupid. But what I noticed in today's, and I mentioned this many times, that men are waking up. They've been waking up. I've talked to plenty of young men out there. Literally, like when I used to go to Seattle at the games and stuff like that, I see these young cats that like my son's age and shit like that. And you know, I talked to these niggas, and it was like, I asked them, do you have a girlfriend? It's like, oh, hell no, I ain't got no girlfriend. I got my roommate, and he's a male. And I was like, I asked them like multiple times when I'm taking the trip to Seattle and stuff like that, right? On a bus. And I asked the same question. How come you don't have a girlfriend or a female roommate? I just was wondering because, and they told me, oh no, that's too much drama. That's too much shit. And I thought to myself, it's working. It's working. Finally, because all these young men out there in their 20s, either they was raised by a single mom, either they were raised by a single mom, they knew somebody as a man who got punished by the court system. And these young cats, they know somebody who got punished by this shit. All right? You get married, you lose half of this shit, half of that stuff, this stuff. Even though if you don't get married, you're going to pay child support if you get a chick pregnant and stuff, so on and so forth. We know, we seasoned. I'm seasoned. These young guys out there, they knew somebody who got fucked up in that deal. Even their own fathers. Even their own fathers, they live in a nuclear family, they got fucked up. So they understand this notion. And that's a beautiful thing to see. You know? But I digress. So, the podcast is going to be very briefly, okay? So, just keep in mind. I'm going to play a soundbite from Denzel Washington on the university. I forgot the university out there, telling young men, you know, it's okay not to have a girlfriend. It's okay not to do you. Fuck all these skank ass bitches. Do you and be a better man for yourself. Now, see, the notion that men going our own way, that we hate women. I don't hate women. I was born by a woman. I have children by women. But you have to understand women behavior in today's society. Right? So we as men, we have to avoid the traps. And life is a journey. And there is a lot of traps out there. Especially for men in today's society. So if you bear with me, I'm going to play 10 minutes of Denzel Washington, and then I'm going to play 10 minutes of Bar. And there's a difference. It's a way difference. Okay, tonight podcast, men, do not be afraid. Don't be afraid to be alone. I'll take care of my shit. I'm hurting. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. I've been doing this stuff for years. The only time that a man needs a woman to utilize her. That's it. Meaning, like, I pay you something. I pay you something. That's it. It's utility tools. Meaning, women are great doing different tasks. Cleaning, nursing, shit like that. Stuff like that. But they got the roles and men got the roles. Right? But to cohabitate or get married, that's a whole different beast. That's how I see this thing. But anyway, I found this, I found this Denzel Washington in a university out there. I forgot years ago, and this is a soundbite. So, excuse me, just bear with me, okay? Okay, so this is the modern man speaking. Denzel Washington, the modern man speaking. And then I want to put Bar, the post-modernism man speaking. And this is a whole different world. Okay? So 10 minutes of each soundbite, and then I'm gonna call it quit because I'm fatigued and I'm tired. But I decided to open up the mic and stuff like that for men out there to listen, because I found it when I'm listening to my car and driving fascinating. I find sound bites and audio fascinating. So if you bear with me, let me dig in here real quick. Just bear with me, gentlemen. I'm dealing with cheap ass equipment, and also not only cheap ass equipment, I'm dealing with some fucking inflation that is out of control. Who's going to fix this nonsense? I don't know. That's another topic with economics, but I digress. Here we go. Let me see here. Let me go back. And just bear with me, gentlemen. Just bear with me. Let me go back here. See, this laptop is really old, so I got to dig in here. Here we go. Okay, here we go. My apologies. Like I say, I'm late. I'm just like you man out there who works and, gets sick and have to deal with their own issues and stuff like that. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not none of that stuff. I'm a man who live in the real world and reality. I don't live in fantasy land or none of that bullshit. Let me see here. Here we go. What the hell happened here? What's the history here? Okay, here we go. Because I'm looking. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yep, here we go.
I blew up on TikTok using this.
Oh, what the hell happened here? My bad. It took me a minute, man. Just my apologies. But I promise you that this soundbite is going to be really cool. You know, you have to bear with me. You have to bear with me, you know, gentlemen. You have to bear. I don't have no fancy equipment and cameras and all kinds of shit. You know, I'm just a man doing my own shit, like you guys. Okay, so here we go. I found it. I finally found it. I had to dig it up because I was, you know, I was planning to do, in reality, because you understand one thing. When you do this podcast and stuff like that, I'm trying to like be like the most that I'm capable to be professional about it, right? With the intro and stuff like that and stuff. Because I'm a content creator. Not really, but I'm just a man expressing myself and believe in the philosophy of man going the own way for like many years now. So, in my mind, I was like, okay, I got this soundbite and I got this soundbite, and I got my own opinion, my own fucking opinion, because I know that I live in the United States of America, so I have the freedom of speech to say what the fuck I want to say. You know, even though I've been shadow banned and taking down channels and stuff like that, but I'm still here doing my own thing. So here we go, Denzel Washington, why you don't have a girlfriend.
Tell you something's wrong, that you're missing out. But let me tell you something. Being a man with no girlfriend isn't a curse. It's an opportunity. It's the chance to discover who you are when there's no one else around to define you. You see, a man with no girlfriend isn't lost. He's building. He's sharpening his skills, focusing on his purpose, and making sure that when the right time comes, he's ready for it. The world will try to convince you to fill your time with distractions. But I'm here to challenge you to go deeper. Because if you don't know yourself, how can you expect anyone else to truly know or respect you? Stick with me, because by the end of this speech, you'll realize that being single isn't a weakness. It's your secret weapon. When you're single, you're not just alone, you're free. Free to work on yourself without compromise. It's in these moments of solitude that you can master your mind, your body, and your craft. This is where greatness is born, not in the company of others, but in the quiet hours when no one's watching. The world is full of distractions. Relationships can be one of them if you're not careful. When you have no girlfriend, you have the chance to focus on what really matters. Your goals, your ambitions, and your legacy. Let that drive you, because purpose is what separates the greats from the average. It takes a strong man to be alone and still stand tall. Emotional independence is your ability to remain unshaken, whether you're loved or left. Women respect a man who doesn't need them to feel complete, because that's the man they know they can depend on. Too many men rush into relationships because they're afraid of loneliness, but settling for less isn't love. It's fear. Use your time wisely. Build yourself into the kind of man who deserves the partner you dream of, and never settle for anything less than that. Confidence doesn't come from how many people you date. It comes from knowing your value. A man who can walk into a room, single, and still command respect is a man who understands his worth. The single years are the foundation for the future. This is your time to dream big, make bold moves, and create a life that's so full and vibrant you won't need anyone else to complete it. And when the right person comes along, they'll be stepping into a life of abundance, not filling a void. So, to the man with no girlfriend, let me leave you with this. Being single doesn't mean you're alone. It means you're in control. Use this time to become the man you were meant to be. Build yourself. Love yourself. Respect yourself. When you do, you'll find that the right person won't complete you. They'll complement you. When you're single, you're not just alone, you're free. It's a freedom that many underestimate, often viewing it as a void rather than a valuable phase of life. But being a man with no girlfriend offers an opportunity that can change everything if you approach it with the right mindset. This is your time to master yourself in ways that are often impossible when you're caught up in the dynamics of a relationship. Solitude is where self-mastery begins. It forces you to confront the person you see in the mirror without distractions, without excuses, and without external validation. It's here in the quiet moments that you learn what you're truly capable of. This isn't about running from relationships or avoiding love. It's about becoming the kind of man who's ready for whatever life throws at him. When you don't have a girlfriend, you have the luxury of time and energy to focus entirely on yourself. You can dive deeply into your passions, sharpen your skills, and pursue goals that might otherwise be compromised in a relationship. Think about the hours you would spend texting, calling, or planning dates. All of that time can now be invested in learning a new skill, improving your health, or building your career. This is how you lay the foundation for a life that's strong, stable, and satisfying, whether or not someone else is in the picture. A man with no girlfriend has the rare chance to build a relationship with himself, which is the most important relationship of all. Many people jump into partnerships seeking to fill a void, to feel complete through someone else. But the truth is, no one else can give you the self-worth you're looking for. It has to come from within. When you're single, you have the opportunity to discover your values, your strengths, and your weaknesses. You can address the areas of your life that need improvement without the pressure of trying to meet someone else's expectations. This is the time to ask yourself tough questions. Who am I? What do I want? What legacy do I want to leave behind? In this process, you're not just mastering skills or setting goals, you're mastering your mindset. You learn discipline when there's no one there to hold you accountable but yourself. You develop resilience when you face challenges without a partner to lean on. You build confidence by accomplishing things on your own, proving to yourself that you're capable and strong. These qualities don't just make you a better person, they make you a better partner when the time comes. Solitude can be uncomfortable at times. It might feel like the world expects you to be in a relationship, as if your worth depends on it. But the man who can embrace being alone is the man who understands his true power. He knows that this phase of life isn't about waiting for someone to complete him. It's about becoming so complete on his own that he can walk into any relationship as an equal, not as someone who's looking to be rescued or fixed. The world is full of distractions, and for many men, relationships can become one of the biggest diversions from their true purpose. When you have no girlfriend, you're granted a rare and precious gift, the chance to focus entirely on what matters most to you. This isn't a period of lack, it's a season of alignment. A time to center your energy and direct it toward the goals that define your life. Purpose is what separates a man who simply exists from a man who thrives. And being single gives you the clarity to identify and pursue that purpose without compromise. When you're in a relationship, even a healthy one, your time and energy are divided. There are compromises to be made, expectations to meet, and shared priorities to consider. While love and companionship are valuable, they require a level of investment that can pull you away from your personal ambitions. Without a girlfriend, you have no such distractions. You can wake up every day with a singular focus, pouring your time, effort, and creativity into building the life you envision. This doesn't mean that relationships aren't worthwhile. It simply means that the absence of one gives you an unparalleled opportunity to focus on yourself. This is your chance to dream big and think long term. What do you want your life to look like in 5 years, 10 years? Without the immediate concerns of a relationship, you can set goals that are bold and ambitious. Maybe it's advancing in your career, starting a business, or mastering a skill you've always wanted to learn. Whatever it is, now is the time to pursue it with relentless determination. Your purpose isn't just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. It's about developing the discipline, resilience, and confidence that come from chasing something meaningful. When you're focused on your purpose, you also begin to attract the right kind of people into your life. A man with a clear vision and unwavering drive is magnetic. He doesn't need to chase validation or approval because his actions speak for themselves. Women respect and admire a man who knows what he wants and goes after it with.
Are you still doing it the hard way? I used to spend
like I
hours.
promised. So that's the hope. It's a very good message for a young man, you know. It is. I mean, I cannot knock it. It's a very good message because I've been practice this myself, you know. And I'm old. This young man need to learn that you don't need a girlfriend. You don't need validation. All you gotta do, take care of yourself. Go to the grind. Take care of yourself. Don't worry about bitches chasing pussy and stuff. Take care of yourself. That's all you gotta do. You'd be surprised how many chicks I can get. I'm my age. I can get chicks that like half of my age. But I know and understand human nature. On his speech, I get it. But he's giving a little bit of hope to men. That if you take care of yourself and you know your self-worth, maybe you can have a significant other and stuff like that. As for me, to be honest, it's not that I'm bitter. It's not that somebody hurt me. It's not all this nonsense that I'm gay. It's not about that for me. As for me, that I choose to not to cohabitate, to have long relationships with women. Due to the fact that there is no incentive for men. So if there's no incentive for men, why should I participate? Now, if you bear with me, Denzel Washington's speech is telling men, take care of yourself. Take care of your shit. But he giving a little glimpse on hopes that they might find a diamond on a rough. Right? Now, when it comes down with me as an individual man, going my own way, knowing how society works, I know how the law works, and stuff like that, to me, it's just bullshit. But it's a good speech to encourage men to take care of their own shit. And it's hard. It's difficult. Trust me, I know. I know how to drive myself in a fucking emergency room and shit like that. But that is the reward. So you guys listen to the Denzel Washington speech. And like I said previously, it's a good one. I never heard about it until like a few days ago. And they chop it up. You know, the soundbite is chopped up. But at least he's saying to men, yo, take care of your shit before you take care of another shit. Meaning, man, take care of your own shit before you're going to pick up another woman garbage and shit. Pretty much, that's the way I see it. Now, for me, this is my type of thing that I do, that I know and I practice. Because at the end of the day, MGTOW is a philosophy. That's it. So this is my own soundbite.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government.
You know, I find it ironic that the tool of feminism and the feminists that employ it is by far the most odious form of oppression, not just for men, but for women as well. Now, don't get me wrong. Men suffer far more under the iron curtain of Marxist feminism. For some odd reason, women seem to be more miserable than ever. And that's because the worst thing Western women could have done is to bog themselves down in the tar pits chasing a feminist fantasy that speaks to the very worst parts of the female psyche. Indeed, the entire reason that women have been such a privileged class throughout history is because only the good parts of her nature were displayed openly in society for everyone to see. Feminism, for the first time possibly in recorded history, has allowed Western women to show their true nature, and it's the worst possible thing they could have done for themselves because now the physical beauty of women comes as a double-edged sword of documented and well-known, unbridled greed, manipulation, and toxicity. And not since the days of Samson and Delilah have men been so keenly aware of the destruction and havoc women can visit upon them. And so now, women can no longer fetch the admiration and devotion of men in any meaningful way. Men aren't amazed or awestruck when we look at women. Men are suspicious and cautious and frankly want as little to do with women as possible. And when men want as little to do with something as possible, we strip down our interaction with it to the necessities, which means that men generally only want to be around women for as long as it takes to fuck them. And feminism and the women who practice it are to blame, not men. Feminism made women absolutely unbearable to be around and impossible to form lasting bonds with, and so by default, men categorized you as nothing but the very sex objects feminists claim the patriarchy labeled you as. That's why the Western woman is so intent on making sure everybody notices her outfit that showed just enough ass and tits for plausible deniability. At work, on the street, in the supermarket, at the DMV, at Blockbuster, and everywhere else. Because sex is all they are. They have nothing else. Ass and tits and painted up faces that make them look like clowns and heels that make them look taller than what they really are. That's all they have left. Now, some of the more perceptive Western women are starting to realize the size and scope of the trap they've been tricked into laying for themselves, but it really doesn't matter whether they see it or not. Because for the first time, men are on the precipice of adopting a line of thought that sticks a collective middle finger in the faces of Western femdom as a whole and tells them that this time, you're digging yourselves out of your own mess. The manginas that haven't figured out how much the very women they grovel to despise them aren't going to save you. You may have government catching you with their safety nets, but in reality, all they can really do for you is throw more money at the symptoms of your misery. The feminist governments in the West are so good at hiding the fact that they're such a huge part of the cause of the Western woman's sickness that she believes government to be the cure for it. The Western skank isn't going to be saved by the hordes of doctors scripting her more antidepressants than ever, and she isn't going to be saved by going to church and expecting men to believe that that makes them somehow cleanse of the stench of the long list of men in her past. God may forgive your degeneracy, but men still know what you are, what you've done, and more importantly, who you've done, so you'll have to excuse us if we really aren't in the mood to accommodate reformed whores that want to be housewives. But even more than that, men don't even want housewives anymore. Because after a half-century of feminism, the only real result I can see is that women have lost their luster and retain only a fraction of the appeal they held in the days of fabricated oppression and patriarchy. And the worst part for them is that the fraction of appeal they've managed to hold on to, i.e. their pussies, depreciates in value with age and with use by other men. It's truly a sad state of affairs for Western women, but I can't say I really feel sorry for them, and that's because there's a new species of man emerging from the primordial ooze of the gender war. The post-feminism man, a type of man that terrorizes feminists because he refuses to serve, he refuses to bow, and he does what he wants to do. The post-feminism man isn't worried about pleasing women because he sees any woman that isn't pleased with him as insignificant. He has a hair trigger mechanism ingrained into every fiber of his being that simultaneously and reflexively identifies and detaches him from any female he's involved with that gives him even one iota of feminist bullshit. He doesn't uphold, maintain, or pursue relationships. He's seen enough relationships to know that the ship is sinking. He isn't a partisan. He understands the futility of believing that the White House or the halls of Congress or Parliament or wherever his politicians conduct business are anything other than the ground zero epicenters of feminist power and influence. The post-feminism man is a nice guy, thug, a bad boy, or an educated man, or whatever. He isn't concerned with providing for or banging child support-obsessed baby mamas, and he recognizes these two groups of men as nothing more than two warring factions of men grandstanding and vying for access to used-up pussy. He's not a race, he's not a sperm donor, he's not an ATM machine, or anything else. The only thing that the post-feminism man irrefutably is and will be is what he's always been. Just a man, ready and willing and fully equipped to withstand and confront Marxist feminism on all of its fronts.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for hanging out to me, with me tonight. So, like I always say, gentlemen, peace. Stay MGTOW. I will catch you next podcast, live stream, or video. Let the universe be with you, my brothers.